Hello! Today we're going to go over how to make applesauce from fresh apples. All you're going to need for this recipe is a pot to boil everything in, your cutting board and knife, your measuring spoons and 1/3 cup, sugar, cinnamon, and the apples themselves. We went to the apple orchard a few months ago. We have some leftover apples, so we're going to take care of those before they go bad.
Alright, so next step is to wash the apples. So not only should you wash your vegetables, you should also wash your fruits.
To start processing the apples, all you have to do is cut them into quarters. And then you just want to core the inside of the apple. There we go.
If you have an apple corer, you don't need to quarter the apples and then remove the center. You can just use the corer as you would. And when removing a core this way, be very careful not to slice yourself, because that's definitely not what we want.
Okay, don't forget to move your scraps into a bowl to get them out of the way. Now with the apple cut into quarters, you just want to slice them a little bit smaller. No measured science, since these are all going to be boiled anyway. As you go, you can throw the apples directly into the pot. We won't be turning on the stove just yet. We're just going to be collecting ingredients for the time being.
So now that we have all our sliced apples in there, the next step is to add the rest of the ingredients. So we're going to need 1/3 cup of water, 2 to 4 tablespoons of sugar. This is to taste. I'm going to do 2 today because these apples are quite sweet. We are using exclusively Macintosh today, but this can be any kind of apple that you have, whether it's a mix or a single variety. It's applesauce, so the consistency will be more or less the same regardless of what apple you use. So the next ingredient is cinnamon, and we're going to be using a 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. Okay, so that's all our ingredients. And now all that's left to do is to put the lid back on. And first we need to bring it to a boil, then we'll lower the temperature. And let's just give it a little bit of a stir, just to make sure everything's nicely coated. Sorry if you can hear our cats in the background, they're asking for attention, but we will give them all of the cuddles very soon. So, as you can see in here, this is now a strong boil. We don't want to boil off all the water, so we're going to lower it to about a 3 to get it to simmer. And as you can tell, it's already starting to cook, and the apples that were at the bottom of the saucepan are quite soft and they're kind of disintegrating a little bit. So as you can see, a lot of the apples are already disintegrated and looking a lot like applesauce. There are still some big chunks in there, so we're going to let it simmer for another 15 to 20 minutes until the apples start to fall apart. And now, as you can see, it's quite liquidy, and the apples are very, very soft to the point where you can just kind of cut into them. So do keep an eye on it in the 15 to 20 minute mark, just because sometimes, depending on the age of your apples, this can actually happen faster than 15 minutes. In our case, they did soften very quickly in about 10 minutes instead of 15. If your sauce looks a little thinner than this, then I would say you should keep the lid off for about 5 minutes and put it on a very, very low simmer, just to keep an eye on it until it reaches the thickness that you prefer. But because this is nice and dense already, we don't want to boil off too much of the water. We're going to blend it now. Also, if you don't have a hand blender, you can probably use a potato masher. And if you find that the hand blender is spitting like this, sometimes what helps is if you angle the pot a little bit so that the head of the immersion blender is covered better, then that can help as well to get the right consistency. And that's good enough for me. I don't mind it when there's a little bit of chunks. And as I'm sure you noticed, we didn't peel our apples. You can absolutely peel your apples if you prefer, but it's not necessary. So at this point, we're just going to take out the immersion blender, and now we jar. So with this smooth consistency, all that's left to do is to put it in your jars, cleaned and sanitized beforehand. Today we won't be canning, but you can can them if you have the correct lid. Something like this. I was a little bit messy about filling the jars. I'm sure you can do a better job than I can. If you are going to can these, make sure that you wipe off any excess in and around the lid, just so that your seal can stick properly, and it'll be good for a couple years instead of a couple months or a couple days. We want to reduce the amount of bacteria possible so that these can last as long as possible. So we will show you how to can properly, water bath canning specifically, in another video, but for today we'll leave it there. if you have a can like this and you do plan to water bath, don't water bath can this one just because this is a little bit too low, and the more air in the jar, the more likely that you'll introduce bacteria. For today, we're just going to put them in the fridge because we go through them pretty quickly. We like to eat them with some yogurt and granola, which we can also show you the recipe for that in a later video. And all that's left for now is to put the lid on. And we want to make sure that we let these cool off on the counter before putting them in the fridge, just to make sure that we don't have any issues with the temperature difference cracking the glass. Cheers to good food and good company.